Wow. Just looking at the papers this morning, and almost all the papers, the headlines seem to be screaming politics. Of course, we are in the middle end, or rather at the tail end of this political cycle when you talk about the primaries, because it was supposed to end this weekend with all the political parties, presenting their nominees to the INEC. But just last night, we understand that INEC has postponed the deadline. Welcome to the studios of Weekend Deal. It's always a pleasure to have you join us. Now, almost every politician that, seek to vie for a different political position will tell you that he's been called to serve the people. Now, from all the things that have been happening in the country, you begin to wonder, are they coming out to serve themselves or coming out to serve the mercies that, or rather those that give them the mandate? Because why do you want to serve and then you want to spend your way through it? You want to spend a lot of money, sell properties, just because you want to represent your people. Let them call you if truly you want to serve their purpose. And of course, on Weekend Deal today, we are not going to shy away from this. We're going to be looking at politics. Is it a job or call to service? My name is Suleiman Babajia Usman. Yes, it is Weekend Deal, and we are happy that you are with us. Now, a call to service is a concept that can be found in religious tradition of antiquity, where, prophets are being called by God to serve, to their great roles to serve humanity. And that has a, modern application where in a democratic setting of society where, individuals are being called to serve the people. But the question is, these individuals who are putting up, forward themselves to say people should give them their mandate, are they doing it to serve themselves or to serve the people that are giving them this mandate? Of course, that is what we intend to interrogate on the show with other emerging issues in our political sphere today in Nigeria. Politics, a job, or a call to service? Let's take this background report from Francis Obey.
As the 2023 elections draw closer, some politicians have declared their intentions to run for various positions. But it is pertinent to find out why people go into politics. Is it for service or for personal gains?
You're supposed to derive more joy in helping your nation, building your nation, improving your nation, than thinking about yourself. The selfishness is above board. That is a problem. Are they not supposed to be serving us? Are they serving you? Like overseas, you see a prime minister on a bicycle. You see him walking around, going to the mall to shop. You're not governing to feel that now I am on top of the world, and you end up feeling that big and floating on the water, and then forgetting the main reason you were elected.
The way politics is being played nowadays calls for serious concern because of the gale of defections from one party to the other. Remember, once upon a time, in the history of the country, Nigerians took pride in the ideology of political parties. That was a period when political party manifestos gave the voters a clear understanding of the party's ideology.
The ideology is not the issue. It's not the major problem. So the ideology will come after the grassroots issues are solved. it is still that greed and selfishness. Because it must be me or nobody. If you don't get it in A, you rush to B, struggling to get it without even anything up there to offer the crowd or the people that will vote you in. So I love this thing they just started, that if you're in a political party, if you win under a party and you move to another party, the party will move ahead to remove you. I support it. Running to another party will not solve the problem. But it needs to stop, because if we don't stop it, it will keep causing issues.
At the moment, the cost of nomination form has continued to engage the attention of Nigerians from various walks of life. Almost without exceptions, most Nigerians have condemned what amount to a tragic attempt to reduce the country's democracy to cash and carry syndrome.
I believe that the party initially was doing it to discourage a lot of people just hopping into this and bringing confusion into the party. But they never knew a lot of people could have that kind of money to pay. So it surprised them that even at that, a lot of people were able to pay the money. But that was the idea. Because if you really can't afford 100 million to buy your phone, why are you coming up to be the president? You're coming to steal, to me. So at least be balanced financially before you will be able to think of being the president of a country. So you will leave our money alone. Those people that are buying your phone, they can't even eat 3 square meals. Where did they get the money? Let it be looked into. Where did they get the money? So I don't believe it, and I don't doubt them, because it is their cup of tea.
The current funding model of political financing creates unfair competition and shrinks the political space to the detriment of competent leaders, youth, and women.
The youth need to involve the youth in what is happening, not just to give one youth. A youth will come out and shout as if he or she is defending the other youth. Immediately they give that person appointment, he will still up. That is not what we need right now. We need you youth to be up and doing. Then we need a government who will know the intelligence of these youths and give them a chance. Tap on it. If we tap on it and they bring in that intelligence into the governance of this country, sky will be our limit. America will not see our back.
This is an interesting political season for all and sundry. Therefore, our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on politics, a job, or a call to service. Also, Weekend Deal wishes all Nigerian children Happy Children's Day.
Indeed, we get to that eventually, talking about the Children's Day celebration. But, sticking to politics, if today my producer, Francis Obe, or the series producer, Bayo Ogori, and my co-presenters, Elizabeth Agbaye and, of course, Thelma Obaze, should, come forward today to join political parties to say that they want your vote. I'm sure they will be coming with the idea that they want to serve you. But the question has always been, is it about them or all the people that they seek to serve? And that, of course, resonates with the other political aspirants. And then this, topic will keep going on and on, because what Nigerians really want is to see people who have their interests at heart. You don't go to bribe your way, through the process, monetize the process, pay delegates, because that is something that is quite generating a lot of concern from different sections of the country. And it all boils down to the issue of the absence or dearth of political ideology in the country, because if people understand where you're coming from and where you're going, and they know that your party manifesto, your ideology is about them, of course you don't need to pay anybody. Those ideas are expected to speak for you, but of course that is not what we are experiencing today in the country. So let's take this next report, which focuses on the ideology of political parties in Nigeria. This is coming from Ibadan.
And critical institution of democracy in any society is political parties. They are the makers of democracy. At the very heart of the success or otherwise of political parties is the importance of political ideologies. The issue of ideology has been central to the activities of political parties across time and space. The ideology represents a typically crucial element of political parties and their activities. Many political parties base their political actions and program on an ideology which are certain ethical sets of ideas, principles, doctrine, myth, and offers some political and cultural blueprints for a certain social order. However, it has been argued that the present crops of political parties in Nigeria has no presence of political ideology, and this in turn is affecting governance at all levels of government.
In Nigeria, because we are just an evolving democracy, we are still learning the dynamics of political practices, democratic practices. And that being so, if you want to look at whether the government of the day is activating or animating the political ideology for which it is created, I would say to a large extent, yes.
If you go back to the history, you will see that it was an elderly person that does politics then. It's not the time of we have now, like Osh Poppy era and the youth era that we have. Everybody wants to go into politics without any ideology.
As a result of the loss of, maybe our collective ethos, what the Yorubas want to call the Omoluabi concept, right? So that ideology, principles that are supposed to be the nucleus, that are supposed to drive the essence of political parties, have become so embarrassingly eroded.
In the early years of democracy, political parties were said to prioritize the ideologies and followed them rigorously. In the present-day democracy, this cannot be said to be the same. Where did we miss it?
Military incursion into our democratic system actually destroyed a lot of things. That is military coup when they took over, and as a result of that, people dispersed and tried to regroup. If you look at the number of years of military rule in Nigeria, it created a lot of problem actually. Because you see now, I say we are still experimenting, our democracy is still very young. Imagine during that military period, we were practicing democracy. It will have added to our experience. We will have gained a lot. It's like beginning again. That's why you see they will say First Republic, they will say Second Republic, they will say Third Republic, they will say Fourth Republic. We are in Fourth Republic now. It's because we will start, it will be truncated, there will be a gap, then we'll start again. So there are gaps.
With the incessant decamping of key politicians across the country, the political class seems to be working to destroy the relevance of opposition in party politics. What does this portend for the future of the country?
It boils down to the people who are voting us into power. You have to hold politicians to account, make them accountable. So if you are telling me you are progressive, because you don't get a party ticket, you cross carpet the next day, I will have to tell you, have you studied the manifesto of this new party you are moving to overnight? I mean, what are you bringing? You've benefited from that party, you've called yourself a progressive. Why are you switching overnight? So we need to hold people to account.
When you look at all the political parties that we have now, they are, just like Bolage will say it, 5 fingers of a leopard's hand. That means they are the same. There's no ideology, and that is why it's easy to cross carpet from one party to the other. It means everything has been monetized. If you have money, you can decide to jump from one party to the other. If you have money, you can decide to go for any political positions because you believe that everything has been monetized and you can buy positions. So there's no ideology again.
Going by the problems of lack of a definite ideology by political parties and the dangers it portends for the Nigerian state, what is the way forward?
If we have a change of heart individually, a change of heart with interest in the country, survival of the country.
We can reinvent Nigeria. Nigeria is reinventable. We can still go back to the good old days, but for it to be reinvented, it has to be renegotiated.
It is suggested that proper legislation be put in place to checkmate monetization of politics. Political parties should take responsibility for the actions and inactions of their candidates in power so as to ensure proper monitoring and strict adherence to the party ideologies and plans.
Very rich report there, and I'm sure everything we needed to know about political parties' ideology is stated there in that report. But we have a guest join us right now in the studio in the person of Shitu Kabir Muhammad, former chairman Inter-Party Advisory Council, of course one time presidential aspirant as well. You're welcome to our studios.
Thank you.
Now, you are one of the national delegates of the ruling party, the APC, and one thing very critical, just yesterday, the INEC postponed, or rather extended the deadline for the submission of the nominees from different political parties. Now, there are a lot of people who have voiced their concern so far because they feel that the ruling party is in bed with the INEC, that to give them that leverage by extending the deadline for another week. Now, your party has managed to postpone its primaries as well. What are your thoughts?
Thank you for this question. You see, if you look at the time frame with which INEC come up with the timetable, every politician was how. It came suddenly, and then we have to abide as political party by it. But in the process, you look at that, it takes a lot of logistics, it takes a lot of movements, and it takes a lot of, you have to traverse 774 local government and the wards. So for you to put up all these, to be able to bring your people, to be able to print your ballot, everything, whatever it takes, we need time. And from day one, if you know, Inter-Party Advisory Council Chairman Alaji Yabagi mentioned it, that please, it's better that they gives more time. He has started from the day one that this date cannot be okay.
But
for
this
the
decision could
parties.
have actually been taken like last week.
He was canvassing for it, and I think the scheduled meeting with other civil society, I think there was security, and that series of meetings took place. And the last meeting is to meet back with the IPAC, and IPAC still insisted that there must be, they should give them some time in order to be able to move this thing. If you look parties, if you are even talking, the resources with which the ruling party can move faster is not as that of the opposition parties. That they have it takes a lot of logistics, as I say.
Okay, so you're saying it favors the opposition party more than the ruling party? Is that what you're saying?
Definitely, it favors all the political parties because it gives opportunity now for you to rejig and then be able to meet up with whatever logistic and thing that I couldn't meet up.
Okay, let's leave that there and move to other issues. Now, from that report, it's all about the absence of political ideology and political, terrain in the country. Now, how worried are you? Because it is one of the respondents there say the rain began to beat us from when the military took over power, but over 22, or rather about 22 years now, should we still be making reference to that incident or begin to focus on things to get things right? I mean, how to get things right, talking about political ideology?
If you look at that, the regime of President Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida has already beat that thought of military incursion caused political instability or what. Under military, under President Ibrahim Babangida, there was NRC and SDP, and we all conducted from ward to local government election to state election to national election. And in fact, you see that at that time, the issue of where you come from, or it was ideological political parties, a little to the left and a little to the right, NRC to the right and SDP to the left. So issue of military incursion is being settled.
So you're saying 22 having political parties
22 years
in the military era, it's something that should be celebrated.
President Babangida has already that notion is not what we should. And we have political parties. We have established these dispensations in 1998 or 99 or 98 that we started, which is 23 to 24 years today. So for us, when I was chairman of Interparty Advisory Council, what are the problems is what we look at. The problem of our democratic process in Nigeria is winners take all. That is the reality. The winner takes all, and lack of punishment. There must be. I'm bringing you from reward and punishment. Okay. In order for us to curb that, we suggested that we put up a bill where we say let's have proportional representation. If you have proportional representation and a political party was able to get 25 to 30% of the total vote in local government, in the state or in the federal elections, that political party should be given some representation in the National Assembly or State Assembly. What that will entail is that people will now build up ideological systems within those, because it start propagating his idea, and by propagating as his ideology, the country gains from it. Now political parties will now evolve over time. And secondly, we propose that there should be INEC should be you should have offensive commission. You understand? That is political offensive commission. What that offensive commission will do is that there will be a punishment for those that violate electoral process. When you have electoral violence, they will be punished. And if you steal ballot or you went and cheat, you will be punished. So if human beings know that if I take ballot or if I miss or do something wrong, there's a body that is going to punish you, you see that will draw back. That's why Electoral Offences Commission is necessary, because we have to undo the INEC to put Electoral Offences Commission. If you have Electoral Offences Commission, they will go.
Everything you are saying now is embedded already in some section of laws we have. It's just perhaps maybe implementation of some of this.
Who implement it?
All this punishment you're talking about is embedded in the Electoral Act.
Let me tell you, if you have a body like that, the police that will be in that commission will be trained on electoral matter. You understand how to handle electoral matter, and these people will be able to put up data to say so year so person committed so in so area. Even if it is 1 month or 2 months you are jailed, nobody would like to do that, and therefore it will reduce electoral offenses, issue of bribery, issue of this. Then that we will also say in that commission, what we say, you will ban even distribution of goods or distribution of any items, anything. It is wrong for us as a country. If I'm going to campaign, I'll buy rice, I'll put my logo, my name and my picture, and I'll distribute to people, bribing them openly. So this commission will have resolved that. If there's the reward and punishment, because your reward is that if you conduct yourself well and you are able to, for your party was able to get some percentage, even if you don't win all, you've been able to do the work. You get
Now let's talk about something that is trending right now, and then the party delegates, of course, that money has been in circulation. It's about the highest bidder now, because we've had situations whereby the losers of the primaries are starting to ask for refund of money given to some of these delegates. But how embarrassed are you after witnessing or experiencing some of these stories that are emanating from different parts of the country? And it's not just to one political party. So, like almost all the political parties have to pay the candidates who are vying for different positions have to pay their way through, call it bribery, call it inducement.
That is part of electoral offenses that we are talking about. Like those coming out to say, I gave so amount of money, they're supposed to be arrested. And then who do you give those money? Arrest them, punish them. You understand? Tomorrow he will not take his money and give people and come back.
But how did we really find ourselves in this, messy situation?
Because
whereby you just have to, it's like money ideology now.
That is why we are saying, you see, we got ourselves here because of winners take all. People are now desperate that instead of me to lose this money, I must win this election. Because you know that if you don't win the election, you have to wait for another 4 years. And then that is why our political system and our economic system must be built according to our belief and culture. We cannot say because we took presidential system from US, America, then we must implement in total what Americans. Is that our character? Is that do you reflect our character and our culture and our belief? No, we had empires. Do we go back to research and say these empires, how do they organize themselves that they don't have all this type of bribery and thing? We had the Kanem Borno Empire, we have the Oyo Empire, we have the Songhai Empire. These are big empires within our area here in Africa. Do we now look at it, okay, let's put our political system according to our belief, culture and character, and then even our economic system. That is why both economically and politically we find ourselves where we are. Because somebody just want to get office, get money, and then go out abroad, and he didn't have that idea that he has to go back to his village, he has to put up processing industries, being it aquatic society, if you are in the coastal area, if you have aquatic resources, if you are here you have agricultural resources or mineral resources. The only thing they think, let me get this money. After getting the money, they stack it outside. It suffers our economy because we didn't build both our economic and political system according to our own belief, character, belief and culture. Therefore, it is time for us to sit down, because we can't continue as people like this. We get nowhere with this type of system. Therefore, it's caused that we have attained democratic process for the past 23 years. Kudos that we have been able to achieve that. Now is for us to sit down and look way that we can now fashion our economic and political system.
Because, some will tell you that today we talk about restructuring, Nigeria. Well, it means different things to different people, but some have also come out to say that the restructuring that we really need, it's our moral compass to ensuring that things are done, that people have the conscience with them at all time, to ensuring that they do the right thing at the right time.
Human from the creation is selfish, and is only law that regulates human mind. Therefore, we must create those laws and then follow up to be able to put the society in a proper perspective, because it's law that put you in proper perspective, not your mind. And if you give a room to a man, he change and become what you think it is not going. But when there's law that regulate him, and he knew that that law will be implemented and you'll be punished, definitely human mind will. So that's what we are saying. If you are talking of the structure that you are talking politically and economically, why can't we say, okay, from the local government, why will state SEC conduct local government election? Because that is where our economic development start. But a state governor will sit down, write names of the local government chairman, announce it, and conduct a kangaroo election. That is where we are getting it wrong. Because if from my village and your village, you voted for somebody, you know him, and then in the area of finance, if their finances goes direct to the local government, and I know that in this my local government, let's say in Jero local government or Borno state, and I can put up wheat plantation or Goma Arabic plantation, and we put up processing plant. Everybody within this local government, if you are able to plant either wheat or Goma Arabic or bring it to this processing plant, they will take it off you. We've started restructuring from the local government. But as it is today, the government, in fact, we commend President Buhari in this respect because he put up a presidential bill that help now that NFI used to go to court, and I think last week they got the judgment. We commend that's one thing that for me I take that this government has done perfectly well, because until you are able to restructure from the local government, that the local people now know that this local government belongs to us, not to a state governor or not to somebody in Abuja, but that they can sit down, the youth, the chiefs, and say, look, what do we now have in this our local government? If you are from aquatic community where you have fish, prawn and thing, get trawlers as a local government, put your youth into high sea. They will give us stream, they will give us, they are even more expensive than the crude oil. As a country, we must always be positive.
Okay.
We have confidence, and as people,
we must be positive. We must be optimistic and confident to ensure that we are definitely going to get it right.
We'll get it right.
Very much for talking to us, Malan Shitu Kabir Mohammed, a former chairman Inter-Party Advisory Council, right? IPAC. Thank you very much. Right now, we go on a break, and after that, we still have more for you. But remember, you can also be a part of the program by, sending in your contribution. I've seen, a couple, but keep them coming. We get to share them with the rest of our viewers. So stay with us. We still expect another guest to join us any moment from now. But before that, let's take this next report, which focuses on the role of social media influencers in the democratic process in Nigeria. Of course, it's a huge call today.
So, who is going to now do the election work? There's no. Wait, do you even have voters card?
Your Excellency, sir, you have NIN.
I do have.
The importance of social media as agents of change cannot be ignored, especially when perceived as an equalizing force for disenfranchised individuals without a voice. Through the use of social media, especially in election processes, global conflicts and extreme politics, diplomacy around the world has become less private. The activities of individuals or a group of individuals who have established credibility in specific industries have access to a huge audience and can persuade others to act based on their recommendations cannot be downplayed.
Social media influencers are people that have great knowledge and who have large followers and have great ideas about things. And if you look at their handle, like Twitter, they have great number of people, and anything they say has a way of people, getting to reach people. And so these people have also, in a way, helped to enlighten the people about the political affair of the system.
And the way Nigerians are lately, they sort of don't show so much interest in the political space as much as the enjoyment space. So most influencers would rather feed them with what would entertain them rather than the political space, the political things happening.
Social media influencers no doubt play important roles in democratic societies. In Nigeria, they have changed political discussions and participations. More Nigerians, especially the youth, are now speaking on the need for active involvement in politics, all on social media. But voting is not done on social media.
We should encourage the youth to get their permanent voters cards. We should be the ones to choose our leaders. So they should encourage them to get the PVC. They should also encourage them to come out on the day of election to vote for their candidates. That's the way I feel social media influencers should encourage the youth.
But once in a while, for a few interested persons who are also in the social media space, we tend to dispense these humorously, musically, or which other form we can, dispense information from the politics that we know. For instance, as the present set of politicians interested in vying for president started buying their 100 million forms, it served as a bane for creating some memes and jokes across social media.
As the 2023 election approaches in Nigeria, what ways can social media influencers lead the vanguard in the advocacy for the electorate to register and collect their PVCs along coming out to vote? Are they truly involved in political education through their platforms?
The influencers, they can really make an impact in this forthcoming election by, first of all, our PVC is our right. So if you get your PVC, you have the power to do anything, as in to change wherever you want to change.
The 2023 election is fast approaching and is around the corner by next year. The only advice I have for the youth is that they should go and get their PVC. They should not only get their PVC, they should go out on that day and vote, so that the act of voting in our preferred candidate should be a collective responsibility.
I actually even shared that on my page on Instagram to encourage young people to get their PVC so that they can vote. At least the thing is, get your weapon first. Whether or not there is a battle, at least get your weapon. So get the PVC, then when the time comes for the battle, then you now decide whether or not you are going to battle, but get it.
For a better Nigeria, it is therefore imperative that we register, collect our PVCs, and come out on the day of elections to vote. Yes, our votes count. Yes, we can.
Yes, indeed, our votes count, and we can. Of course, that is a positive vibe we need to, engage the 2023 general elections with. And right now, we have somebody who is really very popular when you talk about the social media platform. And of course, he's a presidential aspirant for the People Democratic Party, that's the PDP. He's a journalist. He's the CEO of the Vision International, and of course a journalist and publisher. He's so many things, and he's also a Chief Dele Momodu. If you like, Dr. Dele Momodu, Basharu Dele Momodu.
Wow.
You're welcome to our studio.
Thank you very much for inviting me. How are you today?
I'm good. You look very good. That means you're ready for the business of the day. I'm
always very relaxed, no matter the pressure within, the tension. Of course, we're all tense now. Today is D-Day, but I am very, very comfortable because I've prepared very well. I've done my bit, and I've left the rest to God.
Now, Hayatuddin, news reaching us now that he has actually resigned from the race, and I'm quick to ask: are you possibly going to take that direction?
Never. I never start a journey I cannot finish. In 2011, I contested on the platform of the National Conscience Party. I finished the race. Today, I'll finish one leg of the race. And if God allows, I'll move to the next stage. But pulling out in the middle of a race for me is a no-no. When I believe I have some of the best credentials, I would not want to sound immodest by saying I am the best but I have one of the best credentials, and I have the experience, the exposure, the global network to rescue Nigeria from the mess. But if Nigerians then decide that they want to vote for the same people they keep complaining about, then there is nothing you and I can do.
By Nigerians, you mean your party delegates?
No, they are Nigerians. They are citizens. They are,
before you can represent the party.
You can't be a delegate if you are not a Nigerian. They are Nigerians like you and I. So they are privileged. We defer to them. We love them. And I know they are going to be enticed. If I'm looking at the newspaper next to you, say dollar rain for delegates. That shouldn't be what we should be reading. That should not be what our children should be reading. That all it takes is for you to go and buy delegates. So you go back home, the names of the delegates will be published. So you go back home and your children, your neighbors will be asking, so how much did you bring back? I mean, that's unfortunate.
But it's unfortunate, and unfortunately, that is the reality
we're
confronted with. Because, I mean, from that same paper, it's speculating that, you know, it's going to maybe cost a particular candidate to just spend around $2,000 per $20,000.
It's going to be more
per delegate. You understand? And then, are you really concerned about this, knowing fully the fact that, of course, we just experienced primaries across the country, and we know that money exchange hands between the candidates and the delegates? Some have had the cause to say, "You didn't vote for me; you refund my money."
You see, I contested in 2011 on the platform of National Conscience Party. And I believe the other two contestants had more money than me, but I won. So there are times when people who have conscience, I mean, most of our delegates will be Christians, they will be Muslims, and whatever religion they practice. And so sometimes people say, oh no, I can't do this. Then some also fail, and I'm telling them, it's your money, take it. Because there's nobody who would walk the way I've walked all my life and then go and give a delegate $20,000, $30,000. It's unbelievable. So for me, I'm hoping that we will have more people with conscience than those who are ready to sell their birthright.
An interesting one there. Now, you have, a huge followership on social media, about over 2.6 million Nigerians, and those who are not Nigerians, of course, have been following your progress. And then a lot of times we say that elections are not won on
social media.
You need people to be present physically with voters card to vote during the elections. Now, how do you intend to convert this huge followership to real voters? What needs to be done differently, really?
I called a very, very famous Nigerian pastor recently, and I told the gentleman, I said, Pastor, I'm just reading your Instagram page and you're asking your church members to go and take the PVC. I said, you are jumping the gun. Yes, it's good to get the PVC, but who are you going to use the PVC to vote for? So the first stage is let all our influencers, let all the pastors learn, especially from America, that you must be contributors. You must be investors in your future. In America, people donate $5, $10, and you will hear Hillary Clinton has garnered $750 million, maybe Obama $1 billion. Until we do that, until we're stakeholders in the electoral process, the highest bidder would always get it. So I managed to get money, 500 naira, 1,000 naira, because I was not ashamed to ask for it. The little money I make, I earn, I cannot go and spend.
But Chief Dele Momodu, some will say that you are oversimplifying the process, in the sense that a lot of people you are talking about now, of course, you have operated in about 60 countries and on about five
continents
around the globe, and you've seen how things are done differently. Of course, that's what is leading you to say the things you are saying right now. But we are, operating in a different scenario whereby the people you expect to donate, to bring their resources to bear are not economically empowered. How do you expect this to happen differently?
No, my dear brother, that is why I said we must educate people. There is no country that ever changed without sacrifice. I was not born rich. I was born poor. My father died when I was 13. My mother was a stark illiterate. But my mother knew the value of education and forced me to go to school, worked herself almost to death to send us to school. In my family, we're all scholars. My older brother is a professor of physics, got a PhD from Stanford, from an illiterate woman. So the dream of every parent today, and if we have responsible government, is to invest heavily in education. With education, what we're talking about would improve. So I am not saying it will happen overnight, but we have started. And I'm telling you that there were people who donated 500 naira, 1,000 naira to my campaign. It can be done. So we just need more of them.
Okay, now let's focus a bit on the youth now. Of course, when you contested here in 2011, right?
2011, yes.
Exactly. You said something very important, that you learned a vital lesson, and that is having the right structure.
Platform,
a
yes.
platform to to really engage in this political territory. Now, what should young Nigerians learn from that?
Well, many Nigerians have learned from that. You can see, that's why it's unfortunate what happened to my young friend, Banky W, the artist, because I was one of the people preaching that you must go into a mainstream political party for you to be relevant. And now he has come to a mainstream political party. He believes he won the last primary in Lagos for the House of Reps, but that they've taken it away from him. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to prevent such. Otherwise, it's going to discourage the good people from going into politics, and then we're going to be left with the dregs of society, which will be unfortunate. For me, it's a big lesson. I mean, it is almost impossible, especially at the national level, to win a presidential election if you are not a member of a mainstream political party. For today, APC and PDP, maybe tomorrow they will break up and form other associations, but as of today, APC and PDP.
Okay,
they have the upper hand.
APC and PDP have the upper hand. I'm sure other political parties will beg to differ in the sense that they would hope.
I said they have the upper hand. I didn't say it is impossible.
Okay, all right. So I like the spirit. Now let's still talk on, focus our attention on the youth. Now, the youths dominate a larger percentage of our population, most especially when you talk about political activism and all of that. And then you expect that number to count when we talk about the general elections. But some are saying that same youth population is the same, group of people that are being used for violence, vote buying, a destruction during the, electoral process. Now, you talk about education, but does it stop there?
Education is key. Why would I not go on the street and fight for a politician? Why would I have the confidence to say today I'm contesting the PDP presidential election and I am following through? It's confidence. If it's about money, and if I didn't have enough education that will sustain me tomorrow after the election, I'll be scared. Let me go and do a deal, collect my 14 million and go back home. But I'll feel useless to myself. At 62, I'll go and collect, even if you give me 1 billion. It cannot buy my conscience. I'm going to stand firm on principle. I believe that the money cannot be proper money for anybody to spend it like rainwater. So let me contest. Let me fulfill all righteousness so that tomorrow I can stand tall and look at my children and said, I was a man. That's education. A lot of people today will do deals. They will collect money and pull out of it. I can't imagine ever doing that. Never.
Well,
never.
you have been in politics for a very long time now, right? From 1982, Right?
1982, yes.
1982. And then from all you have seen so far, all the trajectories, are you encouraged, are you motivated that we are going to get it right in 2023?
I'm not, but we can't give up. We just must give it a try. Look, I never believed at a point that a Nelson Mandela will ever come out of prison. I never believed at a time that a black man will be president of America. So, countries have got, look at Ghana. Once upon a time, Ghanaians used to troop to Nigeria. Today, we go to Ghana as if we're going to London because some people made the necessary sacrifice. So, the first thing is to educate the people. Education is everything. Once you have education, I tell you, you'll be very comfortable with your life. Whatever God gives you, you accept. You can see me. Today is election. I'm looking well. I'm okay. There is no pressure.
Okay, there's no pressure.
None.
Are you telling me in all honesty that you're walking into that primaries without, with intention of not spending money?
I've not given, God is my witness, I've not given any delegate 1 kobo. Not even 1 naira or $1. 1 kobo. I announced it publicly. I'm not good. Even if I have it to give, I will not.
But you know that other candidates, other contestants will do that.
Last election that I did in 2011, I gave my delegates 2 copies of ovation each. And they looked at it. I'm telling you, everybody I tell, they laugh. Like you're laughing now. I don't mind, but that's what I did. That's what I... Silver and gold I have not, but ovation I have plenty. Books, everywhere I've been going, I've been giving them books. I went to Babangida, I gave you a book. I went to Absalami Abaka, I went to Babasojo 3 days ago, I gave him books.
Unfortunately, I'm just imagining the scenario whereby a delegate will, like, after giving them a copy of a vision, and they're like, is this man really serious?
I am telling you, my last election, I was surprised. And that's why I still have hope in Nigeria. The delegates said, okay, we have this caliber of men. They saw my pictures with Her Majesty the Queen. I've never been a governor. They saw my pictures with American presidents. They saw my pictures with global leaders. They saw what I've done as a son of a peasant. I was an errand boy. I was a village teacher. I want to give hope to those people. Look, election is not just about winning. It's about sending a powerful statement and being part of that process. When we were fighting for democracy, I was put in detention. I was in exile for 3 years. I couldn't come back to Nigeria. If we knew this would be the type of democracy, maybe we would have even begged the military to carry on that time. It's unfortunate that we have bastardized what people died for. Abiola lost his life. His wife died. So many people died. So many people. Look, I lost everything I worked for in Nigeria.
You had to escape.
I had to escape through the bush.
Yeah.
And today, those who did not lift a finger, they are the beneficiaries. So, it's unfortunate, but I will not give up on Nigeria. I have no intention of giving up. But people say, are you crazy? Why are you still... Look, I'm going to call my friend Peter Obi in the next couple of hours. That you didn't tell me before you left us. Because we share a lot in common. I respect him a lot. He lives close to my house, and I go to his apartment every now and then. And we are so passionate about Nigeria, but Nigeria is not passionate about itself.
So are you concluding that we don't really understand any ideology if it's not an ideology of money?
It's ideology of money today. Okay. Growing up, I knew of a Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore. I knew of a Chairman Mao in China. I knew of Julius Nyerere in Tanzania. I knew of Nelson Mandela in South Africa. I knew of Awolowo, Azikiwe, Sadana in Nigeria. Today, a lot of people don't even know the name of ministers. They don't know the names of some governors. But it's all about cash.
Well, thank you very much. And I also know I read somewhere where you say that whatever happens today, even if you don't emerge victorious, but you, of course, are optimistic that
Oh, I'm a winner already.
But in case it happens otherwise, you don't really believe in, winning at all costs. You're going to ride.
Oh, no, I've never been desperate, no.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a spirit we want other aspirants to imbibe. Thank you very much for
Thank you so much. Thank you, my brother. It's nice seeing you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. My regards to your family.
Right.
Thank you.
Right now, let's go on a break, and after that, we'll turn our attention to the Children's Day celebration. Stay with us. Who covered Children's Day art exhibition which held yesterday. So let's take a look at that.
Children's Day is a global opportunity to remind ourselves of our duties and responsibilities to the children in our lives. This was the focus of the children exhibition organized by the White Plains British Schools, Jabi, Abuja, which featured paintings and drawings done by children.
It's here you know people that are going to be engineers, you know people that are going to be artists, people that by watching the child, it's better that what is in him comes out. It will be easier for him to learn what he has passion for. So we are passion oriented. We want every child to be passion oriented, and no parent should force a child in what he or she should do in life.
Art exhibitions made by children present a unique voice of a generation that is inheriting the future to come. Aesthetic values and knowledge help clear up the different visual concepts and break the barriers of how to express themselves through painting. With that in mind, what could be better for these young painters than to follow their art teacher, who guides them with affection and mastery?
It was made by me because my mom wanted me to be an artist, but I said I wanted to be a pilot, and she said I want you to be drawing and painting very well. So this art I started with black paint, covered the faces, then I designed and color everywhere.
This is just a tree. I just had to make nature a house. I just had to make a tree and a house with some grasses with it. This one is just shadows. I saw a picture and I said, okay, let me try and make the shadow of the picture. So these places are empty. They are the shadows of the person, like here. All of them are just shadows. That's why they're looking incomplete.
This is life in the village. I got inspired by a movie I was watching in the TV. I saw how the people work hard daily to get food in their life, and then I just saw the way they were living in peace, and they enjoyed it.
The title is The Beginning of the Season. It shows the spring season. It shows nature, different colors. It shows how the season, like we can embrace the season. This is showing all the different colors like green, orange, brown. That's colors we find in spring and autumn.
Children's reactions to art is fresh and spontaneous. Their responses are led by highly personal motives because their sensibilities have not been dulled, and art comes to them naturally, and they respond to it as they do play. It is important to support the artworks of children in order to build a heightened state of awareness and respect for children's symbolic voices within the field of visual arts.
This discussion will not end today because it is exactly what we are going to look at tomorrow on the show. So join us bright and early. For now, we hibernate the show.